Hi there, friends. This is Emily Windsor Craig, and it is, I've got my oxygen pill. It is Tuesday, the 12th of January, 2021. Wow. And the information is coming out that the Constitution, Section 3 or Part 14, is what is going to be prosecuted, which is to say, we are confronting treason in the color revolution that has beset our nation since the 9/11 attack in 2001. Okay, you got that? There's been a revolution, and it's been taught and coached and helped along since I was since I was a kid. This color revolution is the methods of the Frankfurt School, the methods of Saul Alinsky, the methods of the Bolsheviks, the methods of the left to effect change by burning down the house. And that's not how a civil country or nation or people solve problems. When I was at university, at George Mason University from 84 to 93, my master's was in conflict analysis and resolution. And we had methods devised by John N. Warfield, Professor Emeritus, to gather groups of people who had a common problem and to debrief them about their parts of the problem and to structure their testimony, and then utilizing computer-assisted graphics, gradually point to a critical path and point to the place in the problem where an intervention would be effective. That's what I did in the 80s and 90s. And so why now? Academia has self-consciously reverted to the disruptive tactics of the Frankfurt School and Saul Alinsky and the Bolshevik Revolution is really quite puzzling, because academics damn well know better. They know better than to revert to chaos when we have high-tech methods of solving complex social problems. And of course, academia's methods for sifting and sorting who their elites are have been based on the autocratic top-down hierarchy methods of keeping certain doctrines and dogmas at the top of the pile. And the doctrines and the dogmas that are at the top of the pile aren't true. They've never been true. Okay, so I'm just giving you a link down below to my book that talks about this. It's a free ebook online. Help yourself to it with all of the pictures and links that go to it. And it's an accounting of the false stories and myths and fables that we, the people, have been spoon-fed for 150 years now, that we haven't openly dealt with because the mainstream media have completely bought into the philosophy of destroying what you don't want to experience rather than fixing it. Okay, that's the consumer philosophy. If you don't want something, discard it, discard it, discard it, all right? And maybe something better will come up. That's not how an ecosystem gets fixed, because an ecosystem is fixed on causes and effects derived in biology, chemistry, biochemistry, physics. Okay, those laws of nature are immutable. And if you don't use them, you don't improve anything. Okay. All right. And at university, my experience was they taught me theories, ontologies, taxonomies, and witchcraft. They described ideals, this guy's ideal and that guy's ideal and somebody else's ideals, but the act of solving human problems didn't even come into it. I spent 9 years at university wishing. And now we're seeing the outcomes of mere wishing without responsible methods. Now, our Constitution was set up to be a responsible method, all right? And there's nothing wrong with it, except it hasn't been utilized responsibly, okay? Except that academia has been allowed and been funded to teach ideals without responsible methods, going back 150 years. Our education system, Common Core curriculum, teaches our children that the authority of parents is unnecessary and that all hope only comes in the young and the new, and if you don't like something, discard it. That's the ethic, the ethos of high tech today. We have a new version of a new gadget, okay, every year. But the problems between and among people that have been consistent throughout history, going back thousands of years, don't get dealt with, except in terms of theories, ontologies, and taxonomies, which are not methods utilizing laws of cause and effect. All right, so in the free ebook that I'm going to give you a link to, I trace the fables and myths that we have been expected to choke down in several areas that would really surprise you, okay? In astronomy and geology and geography, all right? Not to mention, I don't get into medicine, but there are whole areas of science that are run on fables and myths. And that's not sensible. That's not sensible at all. The whole color revolution movement to fix what's not working properly by destroying it is not sensible. It's not reasonable. It's not intelligent. The practice of dealing with, quote, racism by pitting races against each other is not sensible. And if we continue to follow these bad methods, we're going to continue to get bad outcomes, all right? It looks as if the Constitution in this particular case and instance is being successfully invoked in order to bring an end to the treasonous coup, and it's a coup, that has been occurring in this nation since 2001. All right? I bet you didn't think it went back that far. Well, it does. So this has been Emily Windsor Craig, and I'm here to tell you we're going to fix these problems because we're not going to use Band-Aids, stopgap methods, and tear down the house as a way to fix the roof. We're going to be sensible. We'll see you soon.